Feminine energy is really about self-worth, right?
Yeah.
So think about this. If you think about like a goddess on a pedestal, right?
Mhm.
Do you see her asking herself, like, I wonder if I'm enough to be with this guy?
No.
Like, no, like, no,
Yeah.
no, like, she's the freaking goddess, so she knows she's enough.
Hello all, welcome back to my channel, Madison Trudeau TV, the #1 place for grown-ass women to learn how to stop dating assholes and start finding their life partner. Now, I'm scrubbing because I just had a fantastic interview with a woman named Alegria Tosi for my Saturday morning coffee chats that are very casual. Now, this interview went fantastic. I can't believe how well this went. We got to talk about everything from manifestation to feminine energy to how to stop really latching on to one person when dating and how to set boundaries and stop being a mother to your partners. This is a fantastic interview. I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys get into the video. Hi guys, welcome to the Saturday morning coffee chat. I am here with Alegria Tosi, and she is going to talk to us about manifestation and feminine energy, and I'm just so excited to be talking with this woman. She is truly amazing. I've loved chatting with her the times that we've been able to and just getting to know her heart, and I'm excited for you to hear it too. So could you tell us a little bit about your story?
Hi, Madison. Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here with you. And I love you too. I love all the times that we connected, and I feel like it was such a good connection, really. So thank you for that. Okay, so my story is kind of crazy. Just heads up. I was born in Ecuador, in Latin America, but I was kind of not raised in this typical Ecuadorian family. So I would, my mom didn't have a religion. I was not brought up in this religious worldview, I guess. So my mom would be doing things like meditating, and my grandfather was doing yoga and all sorts of things that really introduced me to spirituality very young. Like, I remember asking my father what a mantra was when I was like 4 years old. And he literally told me it was like repeating a word like apple. So I literally sat down and said apple, 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 like for an hour, I think. But yeah, that was kind of the background. And that led me to this deep spiritual search. And since I was very young, I was going to yoga retreats in high school, and that kind of made me feel also disconnected from the people who were around me, because not so many people my age had the same interests as I did. And that was kind of hard for me, and it made me feel always very divided, I guess, between my everyday life in school or in work and things like that, and my spiritual life. So there was this big division that I could feel, and at one point this led me to get initiated in a Sufi order when I was 17 years old. And I have a Sufi teacher, a spiritual teacher, and I remember telling her, like, I just don't function in the world. Like, I just want to meditate all day, and I just want to do this my way of life, right? So I was very into making my spirituality a way of living for me, and making everything in my life about it, really. So that led me, when I was 18 years old in 2012, I traveled to Egypt because I'm also a belly dancer. So I went there to
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
I love that.
I traveled there to do this dance workshop, and I remember just going there and seeing everyone pray 5 times a day, and they would put this little signs at stores saying close for prayer, and to me that seemed like what I I've been looking for. What this connection of making everything that you do in your life have the intention behind it, and connecting every aspect of your life and in every act that you do like a sacred act or a mindful act as well. And I was very into the practices of Islam, not necessarily that much about the theology or the philosophy or things like that, but I was very into the practices. So for 2 years I kind of studied it, and I had this calling towards it, but I didn't want to accept it, or I was very afraid, I guess, of accepting it, because I knew it would change my whole life. And then 2 years later I decided to convert to Islam. And 2 years after that, I was a Muslim woman. I was the only woman wearing a veil at university. Being a Muslim woman here in Ecuador was very hard, because you don't see Muslim women that much around. So it was I knew it would be a very difficult choice for me, and it was, but it's one that I'm very happy about as well, because it serves me at that moment, I think. But 2 years after I converted, I got married. I got literally like an arranged marriage. So someone called me from the mosque and said, there's someone who wants to marry you, would you like to meet him? And I was like, yeah, I told you it was gonna be crazy. And when that happened, it happened a few times before that, but I don't know why this time I agreed to meeting this person. And all I knew was that he was tall and that he was good at reciting the Quran. That's everything I knew.
Oh, wow.
Nothing more. And I saw him, we talked, and it was the weirdest meeting ever, because you are basically sitting with a stranger talking about things like, do you want to have kids? How much money you make? How many kids you want? Or things like that. And it was totally crazy. But we decided to get married at the end. So we got married pretty quickly. But the moment between the moment between me getting engaged and me getting married, I started getting this feeling of I'm not the person he's looking for. So it was not even about, is he the person that I'm looking for? It was, I'm not what he's looking for. And I feel like my intuition was really starting to like scream at me that this was really not the relationship for me and the person for me. But I didn't listen, and I didn't know how to listen to my own intuition and to this voice inside of me and be unapologetic about it, because of course, like, I already told everyone I was going to get married, and I already told everyone I was going to get married to a Muslim, which meant like my family going crazy and everyone around me saying like, how can you do this? So it was very much like me saying no. It would be kind of like agreeing with everyone around me,
kind of like admitting defeat. Crazy. Yeah. Gotcha.
So I really didn't have the self-love to do that, because I realized that I didn't know how to love myself. And of course, 4 months later, the guy left the country without saying anything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like I remember this one day when I wake up like at 9 a.m. and he didn't speak any Spanish, so he was pretty he was communicating with me all the time if he left the house or whatever. And he wasn't answering the phone and things like that, and I started to get a little bit worried. So I decided to go out, like after a few hours, to go out and search for him at the places he said he could be. And I couldn't find him. And then a friend came to my house, and someone advised us to go to the police, and we did. And I just had this feeling of, what if he left? And I just wanted, like, I was at the police, and I was like, just tell me, just look at the airport. Like, I just had this feeling of, it would be better if he's at the hospital than him leaving. That was kind of the stage. So they told me, I remember my friend telling me, like, he left. And in that moment, like, my whole life just crumbled into pieces, because it was all this very intentional, difficult choice that I had done for my life. Kind of and because I wanted my spirituality to be so central in my life, I guess, I had made everything about it. So I was studying anthropology, and I was going to study Islamic studies or Middle Eastern studies afterwards. Like, everything in my life was just going in this direction, and suddenly there was kind of nothing left in the same place. So that's when I realized that I really didn't know how to love myself, and how to listen to myself, and how to really I guess I had to take full responsibility for all the wounds that I had and that I hadn't healed, that led me to this place. Because I was very aware of how I walked by myself into this place in my life. So it was also about kind of waking up to my own power of creation and manifestation. Like, I was manifesting shit. I didn't want to be there. But I had manifested it, and I was very aware of how. So it was really in that moment feeling like, okay, my world is shattering, and I couldn't, like, this was a moment where I knew that this story would serve someone else later, but I just didn't.
Sorry about that. There you go.
Don't worry. I just didn't. This was not even something that I would be able to share with someone. Like me converting to Islam and getting married and the guy leaving and all that. It was really a moment in my life where I had to also take action on all the spiritual knowledge and all the personal development knowledge that I had. So for 4 months, I did nothing more than go to therapy, do affirmations, tell myself I love you in the mirror, do tapping meditations. Like, it was not optional anymore, I think. It was very much about surviving. So I feel like something in those 4 months changed for me, like, very drastically. And since then I sort of started saying, okay, so I really got myself into self-love, because I knew that was the big thing behind this experience for me. And I decided that I was gonna do, like, whatever it took to heal. And I was all in that journey. And at some point, I also started learning about feminine energy, because to me, before this, I was like an overachiever, and I would, like, not sleep because I had to deliver this homework or do this thing, and I would just all the time drive myself into this place of struggle and this place of not really taking care of myself at all.
I've been there.
and I didn't knew how to take care of myself. And that also played into me looking for someone who would take care of me.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was to me, it was kind of one thing led to the next. So I started looking into feminine energy, not in terms of love relationships, but in terms more of how do you do things, and finding a new way of operating in life, and a new way of being, and a new way of doing things for myself, in my work, in my life in general. So to me, feminine energy is like this gender neutral way of operating in the world, or state of being, right? It's more like who you are when you feel like a goddess.
Yes.
When you are like, you know, one of those moments when you're just like walking on the street, of course not because we're in quarantine.
True.
One of those moments when you're walking down the street and you just feel like a freaking goddess, and like everyone just has to turn their heads around because you just have this magnetic presence. Right? And I feel like all women have at least once experienced this moment, right? And it has nothing to do with what you're wearing. It has to do with how you feel. Maybe you're wearing a dress, but or whatever you want, but it has to do with how that makes you feel about yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it kind of, everything started to weave into the next thing, and I started going more deep into feminine energy, and I also started at this point, and a few kind of earlier also, but I started also teaching belly dance to beginners. And one of the things that I really enjoyed was looking at women and how they would start smiling at themselves in the mirror, and how would their perception of themselves change, and how through dance they were connecting with this aspect of themselves that maybe they hadn't experienced before or tapped in too much into. So that was, I think, the start for me of feminine energy, and kind of my experience of it. And then I started bringing it into manifestation. And that looked like getting more into being. So feminine energy, so we both have masculine and feminine energy. Those are kind of both, they go together, right? And in some aspects of our lives, masculine energy is very good, is very useful. So I think it's like when you become fluent in 2 languages, right? And you say, okay, so in this situation I need this, and in this situation I need this.
Absolutely.
Or when you change your language based on who you're talking to. So we have like multiple identities, so you're like one person, not one person, but you have one identity. Maybe when you're studying, like the biggest thing is that your identity as a student, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The language that you will use in that environment is very different than the one that you use at home or with your friends. So it's kind of becoming bilingual and learning how to combine these two, this masculine and feminine energy, in different aspects of your life and in different people as well. So especially when we're talking about relationships, feminine energy is very useful for that.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about the difference between masculine energy and feminine energy?
Absolutely, yeah. So feminine energy is all about being, right? is about feelings. It's about what you feel in your body here and now, in this moment, right? Your masculine energy is about doing. Is about your mind and thinking and pondering on things like that, like very in your head, right?
Yeah.
And they are both part of you. Like you can't say like I'm just feeling and I'm not thinking. That it doesn't work separately, really, in everyday life. But we just want to learn how to cultivate more feminine energy right now, because we live in a world that is based on a masculine model, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm also an anthropologist, and in anthropology you have, or in social sciences, you have this concept of it's called habitus. It's not really habit, it's the idea that the structure that you live in, the world that you live in, will express through you as you, kind of, in the way you talk, in the way you think, even in the way you feel, right? Like it's all this structures around you, your culture, right, will determine, for example, how you move, gestures, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Gotcha.
So that's how the world around us gets also like reproduced in us or through us. So if we think about it, we are living in this very masculine world, right? Which is all about competition, is all about who is the best or the strongest. It's all about thinking, right? So when was the last time that you worked with someone who asked you like how you feel, right?
Yeah, working with you, I mean.
Yeah, but like in a work environment that just doesn't happen. Like we value thoughts,
get it done.
We value get it done and efficiency, right? So feminine energy is about learning how to just be, and learning how to just be in your body, and with your feelings, and connected to your feelings and your emotions, and really kind of be comfortable with resting and feeling nourished and doing things that really nourish you and your soul and who you are, and that make you feel like you're a freaking goddess in the world, right?
I love that. Yeah.
So it is who you are when you feel like that. Like the best expression of feminine energy is who you are when you're like dancing at a party, when you are walking down the street and everyone's looking at you and you just feel gorgeous. That's the best expression of feminine energy, and who you are will become very magnetic to other people when you're in this energy. Because I've heard people, especially men, refer to this as yummy energy.
That's awesome.
Yes, it's like she has this yummy energy. Like, wow, okay, that's cool. Yeah, so we feel good when we are in front of someone like that. They feel calm, they feel relaxed. Feminine energy is really about self-worth, right?
Yeah.
So think about this. If you think about like a goddess on a pedestal, right? Do you see her asking herself like, I wonder if I'm enough to be with this guy?
No.
Like no, like no.
No, yeah.
No, like she's the freaking goddess, so she knows she's enough. She's not, you don't see her saying like, I have to struggle to reach this goal. She creates from a different place.
Yeah.
From a place of flow, from a place of ease. And that tapping into that energy is very, very, very attractive, especially to men. Because through that, when we are connected to that, we allow them to connect to their emotions as well. Right?
Yeah.
So it's really about getting connection with a partner or with someone you're dating from who you are being and not from what you're doing. So we're very used to kind of earning love, kind of this having to do stuff to deserve love. And we're like, as women as well, we are very used to this thing of doing things for men so that they will think we are nice. Right? Feminine energy is not about being nice. Right? No, not at all. Because when you're nice, when you're trying to be nice, is when you don't set boundaries.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah.
Right? So the guy stood you up and you're like calling to ask if something happened.
Yeah.
Or if he's alive. Or
yeah.
Or he hasn't texted for I don't know how many days, and you are looking at your phone all day waiting. And you're not setting boundaries. And feminine energy is very much about boundaries. And feminine energy is very much about self-worth.
Which is so awesome, because so many women, I think that as women, we get drawn into this, like you said, the niceties, and so many women struggle and fall into this pit of not setting those boundaries and allowing people to walk all over them because they want to be nice, or they want to have people in their life, and they feel that in order to have people in their life who they value, they need to allow them to do whatever they want. And I love that is not our true nature, right? Our true nature is to not to allow people to walk all over us, but to be confident and stand in who we are and allow things to flow around us. I love that.
Absolutely. And think about people you really respect, right? So I have this friend who is always, you can feel like he's always doing something. He's always doing something, and a lot of people want to be around him. And he's very he'll tell you, I can't meet you because I have a date to read. I scheduled that I would read at that time, right? So it's very much about the boundaries. He's not telling you oh, I'm so busy. He's like, no, I love myself enough to, if I said that I would read and that's what I want, then that's what I'm doing, and I'm not available.
Love that. Setting boundaries and self-love, not just for the sake of setting them, but just out of the fact that you're respecting yourself and what you need.
Yeah, and that makes people magnetic, right? Yeah. That makes also women magnetic. It's feeling like when you go on a date, it's getting into this goddess mentality and saying okay, I'm a freaking goddess, and this guy has the opportunity to be in front of me.
Yes, I love that.
And admire me.
Yes.
Right? So it's he's performing for me, right? And I get to choose whether or not he becomes someone in my life, right? And it's you are creating this movie of your life, right? And you are the star of that movie. And these men are auditioning for you, right? See who will play the best role as your partner in this movie that you're creating. So we are used to kind of performing for a man when we go on dates. And that looks like asking all the time questions, for example, like not being comfortable with just the silence, right? Because if there's silence, he has to ask something or say something to make the date go well, or at least get to know you, right? If you are the one asking questions all the time, and and where you're from, and where did you grow up, and what do you like, and all these things, then he is into feminine energy, just responding, right? So, and at the beginning, this can feel very uncomfortable. So, like when you're dating, just say, okay, the goal for this date is only to be comfortable with the awkward silences and not feel like I have to fill in the gaps there, right? That would be the goal, and I would consider the goal, like the date, successful just if I did that. So one of the things about feminine energy and bringing into this into relationships and dating especially, is that you don't want to date just one person, right? You want to get to know a few men at the same time. Because again, it's like they are auditioning, so you won't just say like, okay, the first one come and oh my god, he's perfect, and that's it. Doing it this way also prevents you from overcommitting too quickly.
I love this concept, guys. I have to say, like, she brought this up to me, and this was never something I had thought about before, but it does really keep you from that whole thing of like, oh, is he going to text me back? Because you've got this one guy that you've already committed to, and he's probably doing the thing that you should be doing. He's probably texting multiple girls. He's probably dating a few different people, and living in that space of you have several people who are reaching out to you, and so you're not so worried about the one guy who like didn't text you back, right? Because you have all these other guys reaching out to you. So you aren't dependent on that one person who isn't even committed to you yet for that emotional validation or communication, right? I adore this. I was like, I really hope she brings this up, because if she's not, I'm going to ask her about it, because I love it. I think that's so freeing.
Yeah, and a client was told me, like, if you receive 4 good morning messages, you kind of forget about the one that didn't text you that day.
Yeah, I love that.
And that energy nourishes you, right?
Yeah.
And it's really about creating also a life that you are absolutely in love with for yourself. So it's not like I'm gonna take, because I remember when I was dating, I would, like, before, I would hate the dating game, because I felt like, I remembered like people like, I don't know, grandmas telling you, I don't know, you're gonna go out to a party, right? There's someone who's gonna pick you up, a guy, and your grandma would say things like, oh, don't go out so quickly, like make him wait, right? So to me, dating felt like I had to do all these things to make him wait when I really wanted to go out right now, or wait and don't respond so quickly, and I would be like looking at my phone and counting the minutes. So okay, so you think 5 minutes is enough to respond? Like, no, like that doesn't feel good. So what you want to do is like actually have a freaking life you love.
I love that.
Doing things, right? And nourishing yourself and have a full life. Create a full life for yourself. So go to the dance class, go to yoga class, go to this and that, go out with your friends, so many, and this used to happen to me so much when I started like dating someone. I would forget about my friends, and I would kind of make this person the center of my world, right? But then I was like, okay, so what if me nourishing myself and me taking care of myself and me providing for myself the experiences that I want and the life that I want actually makes me more magnetic, right? And this changed completely like my experience of men. Like suddenly they were the ones asking me if everything was okay and if he did something to upset me. Suddenly I was receiving breakfast in the morning.
I love it. No, she told me this. He sent her breakfast. Yeah. It's not like he didn't take her out. He sent her breakfast. He wasn't there. Yeah. That's amazing. No. How cool is that?
It was so funny because my mom opened the door for the delivery guy. And he was like, I have a delivery. And she was like, no, we didn't order anything. Yeah. And he was like, no, but this is the delivery. And she was like, no one ordered anything. It's not here. And then the guy said my name. She was like, okay. So, yeah, it completely changed my experience of what dating felt like. It was fun. And I didn't have to do anything. Like I wasn't cooking dinners just like surprised from one. I wasn't making little hearts and notes and all these things that we as women do that really to us feel like cute little details and romantic things to do. And to men, the thing is that those things might feel like she is trying to get me to commit.
Yeah.
And she's trying to grab me.
Yeah.
Right?
This is so good. I'm so excited to share this with everybody. I love it. Yeah.
They stop feeling free. And the thing is that we value, like, because of like gender construction socially, we as women value more security, right?
Yeah.
So we start dating someone and we need to feel this security of I am going to be with this person. And the dating world seems like kind of not very easy for us because we need to feel secure in order to be romantic with someone, and we need to feel like, okay, we're on solid ground. And dating is not solid ground, and the thing is that we treat it that way.
That's so true. Yeah.
Right. And that's when we commit to this person emotionally before it is actually time, and before he has taken the action for me to actually do that. Right?
Yeah.
So it's very practicing and learning a different way of operating when it comes to love. That is very counterintuitive to how we've been raised.
Yeah, it's true.
Because we have been taught to be kind of mothers to our partners and to the people that we're dating, and always be doing something for them, and always be also monitoring them and controlling them. And we can't trust that if we tell them if he's gonna cook, we can't trust that he's gonna do it well, whatever that means. Well, according to us.
Yes. Right? Yeah. Right.
We are sort of controlling every move, and that energy is very masculine. It's not someone you want to be around.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be around someone telling you what to do and how to do it every day, all day.
It's true.
So this is how we don't become mothers to the guys that we're dating, right? Or our partner. And also how we don't make it also like our responsibility. So we kind of have to trust this man to figure things out. So I'm not gonna be planning the date. So it looks like this. If I don't plan the date, then we won't get out on the date, right? But if you have this mentality of I'm a freaking goddess, we don't go out on a date. We don't go out on a date, right? And I'm having all these other options available who will take the action for me to go out on a date.
Absolutely. And allowing that to be the just be, and not forcing something like the planning. I love that example of when you're dating. If somebody decides they don't want to plan a date with you, they're not going to date you anymore. I mean, that's, that's just the cold hard truth, and it's unfortunate. You want to be able to, but it's also so telling of how interested somebody is in us. Is if we were to not plan, if we were to sit back and allow things to come to us, how would someone behave? Because we already know. We know we're good at planning. Women are great at planning. We don't need to prove that to anybody. I think everybody already knows, especially if you're like me and you. I know that I'm a great manager. I know that I'm a great planner.
And so I love making lists. Like,
exactly.
I can make to-do lists all day.
Yes, exactly. So we already know that we're great planners. We don't need to prove that to anybody. And allowing ourselves to say, okay, like if this person doesn't want to plan a date with us, then I guess that's just kind of it, And again, if you're doing what you're asking, dating multiple people, then there's going to be somebody who is going to plan a date with you. And I mean, that might be a better option if you're somebody who really needs that quality time, Interesting. It looks like I've got a 40-minute limit. I've got about 10 more minutes left, which is so hard because we've got a lot that there's so much more that we could talk about here.
I know,
Something I really want to make sure that we talk about is how this looks like in a relationship. So once you're in that committed relationship, how does it look to utilize that feminine energy? You mentioned something about buying yourself or taking care of yourself. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, totally. So, okay, this looks like first nourishing myself. This is like romance yourself first, right? So it's like if I don't tell him to bring me flowers, and women will get upset. I had clients tell me like I would get upset because he wouldn't bring me flowers and things like that. And I was like, okay, so how about you buy flowers for yourself? And then he'll pick up on the fact that you like flowers, and he'll want you to do it. And creating like little rituals of self-love for yourself. So, for example, one of my rituals is that I get out of bed, I make coffee, and I bring my coffee into bed, and I drink it there, like all nice and cozy, and I have this very relaxed time in the morning. So if someone knows that, right, he will pick up on that, and he will know like, oh, she likes hot coffee in bed in the morning, so maybe I can do that. So instead of trying and begging men to do things that we want, we have to actually like make it the other way around, and kind of not teach them, I don't like that word, but show them what that looks like for us.
That's awesome.
Right? And how we like to be treated.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I know I have an example of that, or a couple of examples of that in my own relationship. specifically the flowers, I used to buy myself cut flowers all the time. I love to have them around. They're a little bit expensive, but I like to invest in having that around. And a couple weeks ago, like this was back when we were dating, and my husband and I are of course married now. He brought me potted flowers the other day because he was like, well, I know that you like flowers, so I bought you these flowers. And I was like, that's so sweet. And then another thing happened just about a week ago. I recently started buying more self-care products. You know, I've been journaling in the morning and just trying to take better care of myself emotionally and physically. And I had a couple things in our Amazon cart. We share an Amazon cart. And he decided to buy those things for me because he was like, well, I noticed that you're getting all this other stuff and it was sitting in the cart and I just wanted to get that for you. And it was so sweet. So really, like, I love that idea. And, you know, still communicating and saying, like, maybe once, and this is how, like, we can avoid nagging, right? Because that's so common for women. It's like, I already said this, but men are so visual that, like, you say it once and then you start doing it for yourself and you start showing them what it looks like to have that done. And it reminds them, I think, seeing it better than hearing it all the time, seeing it in practice. So I love that concept. I love that idea.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's life-changing when it comes to love.
Absolutely.
And also your life, like, you are doing things for you to improve your life. So having fresh flowers makes you feel good. Yeah. Right? It's not about anymore what he does or doesn't do. It's about how you feel. So this is why it's like it all comes around, like it's like a circle, because it's all about how you feel, right? Feminine energy, with feelings. When you bring the flowers, is about making you feel good, right? It becomes about you. So the guy is not the center of attention anymore. Because you are doing things for yourself because they feel good to you.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. You know, I and what I try to teach in my in this group is that the first step to doing any of this, the first step to finding a partner, to finding a life partner, is to take care of yourself. I mean, that's the first thing that you have to do, because if you're not happy with yourself, how could you possibly be happy in a relationship? If you're not feeling satisfied with the way that your life is going, how could you expect to feel satisfied once you get into a relationship, you know? Unfortunately, nobody else is going to come around to fix you, right? I mean, that's what we've been taught our whole lives, is that somebody's going to come around and we're going to get in this awesome relationship and it's going to fix us. And I think the right person can give you the space to grow, but you have to do it yourself. You know, we have to seek that personal development and that personal growth ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So
it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
I enjoyed this so much. It was so much fun.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. We have a couple more minutes, so I've got about 4 minutes. Do either of you who are on have any questions that you'd like to ask while we've got her beautiful face and brain here? Ask any questions. If not, that's okay. I just love to give this little space, since we're doing a coffee chat, to have a little bit of a conversation. So yeah, just give a couple minutes.
Yep.
And you can unmute yourselves. You should be able to. If you let me know, put in the chat if you can't, and I'll make sure that you can.
Yeah. If you don't feel comfortable talking, you can also just write it down in the chat box.
Sure. And feel free to message either of us after. We are both a part of the group, so you can message us as we're a part of the group, and that's totally okay. I know some groups have rules against that, but this is totally fine. So
yeah. And you can find me as Alegria Tosi. We'll put that in somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. I'll put it in the description of this video when I reshare it. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, but you can find me as Alegria Tosi. Right.
Awesome. Okay, we've got a chat. Let's see. Lovely chat. I really enjoyed it so much. Thank you. I adore Marian. Is an amazing person. I love her. She's so sweet, and she is just like so rock solid on personal development and growth. It's awesome. Hey, hi, how are you?
Hi, I really enjoyed your talk, ladies. It was so much fun.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I'm so
great.
glad. I know that there were a few
Yeah.
things that when I was talking to her before, I was like, Marian's going to love this. She's going to need to hear this
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that when she mentioned, she said, if you are dating one person, you have to go multi-date. You
Yeah.
don't have to over-commitment with one person because you like
Yeah.
him so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And there's
yeah,
always going to be one that you like more, but you
yeah,
want to stay, you want to keep the other guys also there
yeah,
so that you don't commit too fast.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all. I love it. That it was a nice advice. So thank you.
I'm glad.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and about also, yeah, enjoying the date. I always say to myself in every date, and also tell this to my friends. If you're going to date and you feel rejection, don't feel sad because he didn't reject you because you are better, like you are not enough because maybe you are not his type, you are someone else's type.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody is
exactly.
some type. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. It was amazing.
Oh, good.
Oh,
I'm so
so
glad.
good.
I'm so excited
Yeah.
to post this. We're recording this. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and post this in the group. I'm going to send a copy.
Okay.
And I think I might also put this on YouTube. Like while we were sitting here talking, I was like, there are so many people who need to hear this.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Exactly.
yeah, awesome. It was so awesome to chat with you guys. It looks like I've got less
Yay.
than a minute left. So thank you so much for coming and chatting with my group. I'm so happy to have met you. You're an amazing human
Yeah,
being.
me too.
Yeah, thank
Love
you
See you
so
later.
much.
Bye.
Bye. Love you
Bye,
guys.
Bye, Marian.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. That was an incredible interview. I'm so happy that I got to share that with you guys. If you enjoyed that, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and please be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell so that you get notifications every time I post a new video with tips on how to stop dating assholes and start finding your life partner. Have a fantastic day. Be sure to share this with your friends. There are so many women out there who would benefit from hearing this. So many people generally out there that would benefit from hearing this. Please be sure to share this with somebody you care about. Bye.